Welcome to our Hong Kong Brief Show, where we delve into the latest news with a sprinkle of charm and a dash of insight. First up, the National Newspaper Awards have just wrapped up, shining a spotlight on journalistic excellence across Canada. The Toronto Star and the Globe and Mail have emerged as big winners, scooping up awards for their investigative prowess and compelling storytelling. It's a celebration of the relentless pursuit of truth and the power of the written word. Next, we journey to Southeast Asia, which has become the new hotspot for money laundering, replacing Macau's notorious junket operators. As billions of dirty dollars flow through online gambling and scam centers, authorities are scrambling to clamp down on these illicit networks. It's a high-stakes game of cat and mouse, with Southeast Asia's booming casino industry at its heart. Finally, we turn our gaze to Hong Kong, a city at a crossroads. From striving to become a tech hub to bolstering its agriculture and fisheries sectors, Hong Kong is grappling with how to reinvent itself amid stiff competition from its neighbors. The city's vibrant spirit and resilience are being tested as it seeks to find its drive and place in the rapidly changing global landscape. So, stay with us for a deeper dive into these stories. Please continue to watch for more details. In the prestigious realm of Canadian journalism, the National Newspaper Awards, NNAs, stand as a beacon of excellence, celebrating the tireless efforts of journalists who delve into the heart of stories that matter. This year, the NNAs were a testament to the investigative prowess and narrative elegance that define Canada's news landscape. Among the luminaries, the Toronto Star and the Globe and Mail emerged as shining examples of journalistic brilliance. The Toronto Star, renowned for its commitment to investigative journalism, clinched 3 national newspaper awards, a feat that underscores its pivotal role in shaping public discourse. The awards ceremony, held in Toronto, was a moment of recognition for the Star's relentless pursuit of truth and accountability. In a collaborative effort with the Narwhal, the Star triumphed in the sustained news coverage category, unveiling the Ontario government's contentious plans to develop the Greenbelt. This investigative endeavor not only highlighted the environmental stakes, but also showcased the power of collaborative journalism in bringing complex issues to the forefront. Adding to the Star's accolades, reporters Sarah Mojtahedzadeh and Rachel Mendelson were honored in the business reporting category for their investigative series Workforce. Their exploration into worker exploitation laid bare the harsh realities faced by many, sparking conversations on labor rights and corporate responsibility. Complementing these narrative victories, photographer Steve Russell received recognition for his poignant photo essay capturing the intimate struggles of a couple dealing with dementia. Through his lens, Russell offered a window into the personal battles that often remain unseen, making a compelling case for the emotive force of visual storytelling. On the other hand, the Globe and Mail, another titan of Canadian journalism, dominated the NNAs with an impressive haul of 7 awards. The Globe's triumph was emblematic of its journalistic rigor and its ability to navigate complex narratives. Columnist Doug Saunders, named Journalist of the Year, was celebrated for his insightful reporting on the perilous journeys of global migrants. Saunders' work shed light on the human stories behind migration crises, offering a nuanced perspective on a topic of global significance. The Globe and Mail's investigative prowess was further exemplified by Robin Doolittle and Tom Cardoso's groundbreaking investigation into Canada's Access to Information System, which earned the John Hondurk Award for Project of the Year. Their meticulous examination of bureaucratic barriers to information unveiled the challenges faced in the pursuit of transparency, reinforcing the importance of investigative journalism in safeguarding democracy. The 75th NNA Gala ceremony was not just a celebration of individual and organizational achievements, but also a historic moment that reflected the evolving landscape of Canadian journalism. For the first time in the award's 75-year history, the NNAs recognized work in a language other than English or French. A team of journalists from the Chinese-language publication Sing Tao was honored in the special topic category, marking a significant milestone in the inclusivity and diversity of Canadian journalism. The NNAs also highlighted the collective strength of Canada's journalistic community, with La Presse and the Toronto Star each taking home 3 awards, and the Brandon Sun and the Narwhal securing 2 each. 13 other news outlets, including the Canadian Press, were recognized, showcasing the breadth and depth of journalistic talent across the country. In the end, the National Newspaper Award served as a vibrant showcase of the resilience, ingenuity, and empathy that define Canadian journalism. As the Toronto Star and the Globe and Mail, along with their peers, continue to push the boundaries of storytelling, they not only illuminate the issues of our time but also reinforce the indispensable role of journalism in shaping a more informed, compassionate, and just society. In the bustling heart of Hong Kong, a new attraction emerged on the Tsim Sha Tsui harbourfront in 2004, captivating both locals and tourists alike. The South China Morning Post reported the star-studded opening of the Avenue of Stars, an 40 million Hong Kong dollars project that positioned itself as the city's answer to Hollywood's Walk of Fame. This glamorous promenade quickly became a hotspot, featuring autographs and handprints from luminaries of the film industry, including the likes of Jackie Chan and Jet Li. With an expected influx of around 500,000 visitors each month, the Avenue of Stars was not just a tribute to the cinematic achievements of Hong Kong's film industry but also a significant tourist draw, with 70% of its visitors anticipated to be local people. The presence of stars such as Jet Li and Sammo Hung at the opening ceremony underscored the Avenue's importance as a cultural landmark, celebrating the rich legacy and ongoing contributions of Hong Kong's entertainment sector. While Hong Kong was enhancing its tourist attractions, the South China Morning Post highlighted a darker narrative unfolding in Southeast Asia. The region had become the new hub for the laundering of billions of dollars of illegal Chinese funds, surpassing Macau's gaming junkets, which had previously been the preferred route for financial criminals. Southeast Asia's burgeoning casino industry, characterized by poorly regulated online gambling activities in countries like Vietnam, Cambodia, and the Philippines, had attracted not only legitimate investors but also illicit financial flows. The UN Office on Drugs and Crime, UNODC, reported that this shift was partly due to China's crackdown on corruption, money laundering, and illegal capital outflows. Particularly alarming was Cambodia's Special Economic Zone in Sihanoukville, which had turned into an epicenter for trafficking linked to online betting and cyber scams run by organized crime networks. In response to these challenges, the Financial Action Task Force, FATF, during Singapore's presidency, prioritized the fight against the laundering of proceeds from crime. A new initiative was launched in partnership with Interpol and the Egmont Group to counter illicit financial flows stemming from cyber-enabled fraud, including money laundering. Singapore itself had been tightening its anti-money laundering regulations, which led to concerns that these efforts might inadvertently push criminal proceeds into the less regulated special economic zones of Southeast Asia, mirroring the situation that had unfolded in Macau. On a more positive note, Nikkei Asia reported on a significant development in Malaysia's venture capital landscape. Malaysian venture capital firm Blue Chip Venture Capital announced plans to invest over $209 million in more than 10 startups through its fund, with a particular focus on the semiconductor industry. This move was seen as a vital step towards developing Malaysia's chip industry, which had traditionally been concentrated on back-end processes such as assembly and testing. In 2020, Malaysian startups raised $110 million, representing just 1% of the total raised by Southeast Asian companies. The investment by Blue Chip VC was a clear indication of Malaysia's ambition to become a more significant player in the semiconductor and broader technology sectors, highlighting the potential for growth and innovation within the region. From the glitz and glamour of Hong Kong's Avenue of Stars to the shadowy corners of Southeast Asia's online gambling industry, and the promising venture capital movements in Malaysia, these stories paint a complex picture of a region at the crossroads of culture, crime, and innovation. Each narrative, whether celebratory or cautionary, underscores the diverse challenges and opportunities facing Asia as it navigates the intricate dynamics of the 21st century. In the bustling city of Hong Kong, a place known for its vibrant culture and as a global financial hub, there's a growing sense of urgency to reclaim its competitive edge. The South China Morning Post recently shed light on how Hong Kong is slipping from its prestigious position among the world's top 10 container ports, a clear indication of its diminishing stature on the global stage. This revelation comes at a time when its rivals, including Shanghai, Singapore, and Shenzhen, are not just maintaining their rankings but are surging ahead. The city, once known for its bustling port and as a nexus of trade, is facing a critical juncture. It must now confront its shortcomings head-on and take decisive action to remain in the race. The path forward involves establishing itself as a tech hub, breaking free from conventional thinking, and leveraging the unique advantages of the two systems under one country framework. To stay competitive, Hong Kong must foster innovation, encourage risk-taking, and create an environment that nurtures entrepreneurship. In another sector, the South China Morning Post reports that Hong Kong is looking to cultivate its agriculture and fisheries sectors, areas that have long been neglected. The government has unveiled ambitious plans to increase local food production, aiming to quadruple the city's fish culture zones to 800 hectares and raise the production of farmed marine fish within 15 years. Additionally, there are plans to significantly increase vegetable and livestock production. This initiative is not just about reducing the city's heavy dependence on imports, which became a glaring issue during the COVID-19 pandemic when supply chain disruptions led to shortages and soaring prices, but also about enhancing food security. However, industry players are calling for more concrete policies and support to truly transform these sectors. The government's strategy includes improving infrastructure, providing financial and technological support, and encouraging the younger generation to enter the industry, with proposals to use high-tech farming methods to boost production. Meanwhile, in the world of sports, the South China Morning Post highlights the formidable presence of New Zealand's women's rugby sevens team, the Black Ferns, as they prepare for the upcoming tournament in Singapore. Despite leading the World Series standings and having won the last 3 tournaments, veteran player Tyler King issued an ominous warning to their opponents: the team has yet to reach its full potential. This statement comes after a surprising loss to France in the pool stages in Hong Kong, a setback that has only fueled their determination to improve. The Black Ferns view the upcoming tournaments as crucial stepping stones toward their ultimate goal of success in the Paris Olympics. With New Zealand currently tied on points with Australia and France trailing in third place, the stage is set for an intense competition. These snapshots from the South China Morning Post paint a picture of a city at a crossroads. Hong Kong is grappling with the need to reinvent itself to stay relevant in a rapidly changing world, whether it's in reclaiming its status as a global trade hub, revitalizing neglected sectors like agriculture and fisheries, or making its mark on the international sports scene. The common thread in these narratives is the imperative for innovation, strategic planning, and the willingness to embrace change. As Hong Kong navigates these challenges, the city's resilience and adaptability will be key factors in determining its future success on the world stage. In a recent declaration that has reverberated through the halls of power and across the global stage, UK Chancellor Rishi Sunak has emphatically called for Britain's defences to be bolstered, effectively putting the nation on a war footing. This call to arms, as reported by The Telegraph, is not merely a matter of ramping up military might, it is a clarion call for a holistic approach to national security, encompassing diplomacy, trade, and immigration policies, in the face of an axis of authoritarian states that includes formidable powers such as Russia, China, North Korea, and Iran. Sunak, aligning with sentiments expressed by French President Emmanuel Macron, underscores the urgency of this pivot, advocating for a significant increase in defense spending to 2.5% of GDP by 2030. This strategic shift, Sunak argues, is imperative not just for Britain's safety, but as a bulwark to ensure that Europe stands resilient against the ambitions of Russia and other authoritarian regimes. The narrative that unfolds is one of a world at a critical juncture, with the UK at the vanguard of a collective Western effort to defend its values and way of life. On a different note, the realm of international air travel, as detailed by the Sydney Morning Herald, presents a contrasting tableau of competition and customer experience, particularly between Qantas and All Nippon Airways, ANA. Passengers have voiced their grievances and preferences, painting a vivid picture of the disparities in service quality. One traveler's experience on ANA, from Tokyo to Munich, was marred by discomfort and dissatisfaction, from the oppressively warm cabin temperature to the lackluster food options and the poorly designed seating. This starkly contrasts with their anticipation for a superior experience aboard Qantas for their return journey. Another narrative highlights the logistical inconvenience faced by a passenger due to the lack of a baggage check-through agreement between Qantas and Swiss International Airlines, underscoring the nuances of airline alliances and the impact on customer satisfaction. These anecdotes serve as a microcosm of the broader competitive landscape in the airline industry, where service quality and strategic partnerships can significantly influence traveler loyalty and preferences. Meanwhile, in the Pacific Islands, a shadowy narrative unfolds, implicating China in a complex web of influence, geopolitics, and illicit trade, as reported by Diplomat. Fiji, with its strategic geographical location, has emerged as a focal point in China's expansive efforts to wield influence across the Pacific. However, this influence comes with a dark underbelly, as Fiji finds itself ensnared in the global fentanyl crisis, a scourge that has been devastatingly effective in claiming lives, particularly in the United States. A U.S. congressional report pulls no punches in attributing the blame squarely on Beijing, highlighting China's role in producing nearly all fentanyl precursors, as well as a significant portion of methamphetamine precursors destined for Mexican cartels. This strategy, reminiscent of historical precedents such as the British-backed opium trade, serves not only as a means of geopolitical maneuvering but also as a corrosive force undermining societal health and stability. The implications for Fiji, and indeed the wider Pacific Islands, are profound, as the region grapples with the fallout from being caught in the crosshairs of global drug trafficking networks and geopolitical ambitions. Each of these narratives, while distinct in their focus and scope, weave together a tapestry of a world in flux, from the geopolitical recalibrations in the face of authoritarian threats, to the competitive dynamics of international air travel and the shadowy machinations of global drug trafficking. Together, they underscore the multifaceted challenges and considerations that shape our global landscape, demanding a nuanced and holistic approach to policy, strategy, and governance. In a dramatic turn of events that reads like a suspense thriller, the owner of a Michigan vape distributor named Gu found himself in the grips of the law, following a catastrophic incident that led to the loss of a life. As reported by the Globe and Mail, Noor Noel Kestu was apprehended at New York's John F. Kennedy International Airport, moments before he could board a flight to Hong Kong with a one-way ticket. This arrest wasn't just a simple case of being at the wrong place at the wrong time. Kestu was flown back to Michigan and charged with involuntary manslaughter, following a fire and explosion at his company's premises that resulted in the tragic death of Turner Lee Salter. Salter was fatally struck by a nitrous oxide canister propelled by the explosion, in a scene that could very well belong to a Hollywood action movie. The premises housed over 100,000 vape pens and a significant amount of butane, elements that contributed to the devastating outcome of the incident. Meanwhile, halfway across the globe in Hong Kong, a narrative of a different shade unfolds, as reported by the South China Morning Post. In a move that marks a significant shift from tradition, a pro-Beijing community group has applied to host a food carnival on June 4 at Victoria Park. This date and location hold a poignant significance, as they were historically reserved for annual candlelight vigils in memory of the 1989 Tiananmen Square crackdown. For 3 decades, this park was the backdrop for the only large-scale public gathering on Chinese soil that commemorated the events of June 4, 1989. However, the proposed food carnival, which comes on the heels of the disbandment of the Hong Kong Alliance in support of patriotic democratic movements of China in 2021 and the arrest of its leaders, represents a stark departure from these solemn commemorations. The Federation of Hong Kong Guangdong Community Organizations, which co-organized a similar event last year, plans to charge an admission fee and promises an array of improved food products to attract visitors, signaling a new era for Victoria Park's June 4th. Adding another layer to the complex tapestry of Hong Kong's recent history, the South China Morning Post shares the story of Toffee Tam Yuk Fun, a veteran teacher whose career and future were jeopardized over Facebook posts made during the 2019 anti-government protests. Tam was dismissed from her position and stripped of her pension rights after being found guilty of misconduct for making offensive comments about the police force. However, in a surprising twist, she won an appeal against what Mr. Justice Russell Coleman of the Court of First Instance described as a harsh and oppressive decision. Coleman's ruling highlighted the undue severity of the punishment, questioning the rationale behind choosing dismissal without benefits over compulsory retirement. This case sheds light on the ongoing tensions and the high stakes involved in the exercise of free speech, especially in the context of political unrest. From the tragic explosion in Michigan to the shifting sands of political memory in Hong Kong and the battle for justice in the courts, these stories weave together narratives of loss, change, and resilience. They reveal the complexities of navigating the legal and social landscapes in today's world, where the consequences of one's actions can reverberate far beyond the immediate and where the past and the future are in a constant state of negotiation. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.